And welcome to And Here's Modi. Wow, I haven't been in the studio in a while. I forgot how to do this. We want to thank our friends, collaborators, friends, really just friends. Whites in Luxembourg, the law firm that does not only well, they do good, philanthropic, and just an amazing law firm. Our friend Arthur from Whites in Luxembourg, and the website is
whiteslux.com.
whiteslux.com. Thank you very much. Let's just go right into it. What?
You forgot to say the name of the show.
Our name of our show, if they're listening, I think they know. It's And Here's Modi. And welcome to it. And we have a very, very special guest here today. You'll do the intro.
I will.
Because you got it all written out there.
I have it all written out.
Make it easy. Don't do like a eulogy. It's just to give
Don't read it. Just improv it a little bit.
No, but like, go ahead.
Okay, so we do have a very special guest. We have half of a very special guest duo. One of them is running late. Louis
AlShareef.
AlShareef.
It's Loay AlShareef, but
Loay.
Yeah, but Americans butcher my name.
Yeah.
So I decided to follow one of my American friends. He told me your name will not be Loay, but Louis.
Yeah, that's
the American name.
that happened to me too with Perio. Okay, so you were born in the UAE.
I was born in Saudi Arabia. And I'm
Ah.
based in the UAE. I'm based in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm reading here, so that you're.
So maybe you can help us with your intro. What do you want? How do you want the guests to know who you are?
Exactly, because whoever wrote that intro was not doing it.
Yeah,
we can yell at Dan. We can yell at Dan when he gets here.
Yeah, no, tell us. You, who are you?
I'm a content creator of languages and history and peace activist. And I create content on social media in support of the Abraham Accords and the reconciliation between Arabs and Israelis, Muslims and Jews. This is what I do on social media.
That's amazing.
Beautiful.
But I started social media like 10 years ago or so, 12, no, more than 10 years. 12 years ago with a show to teach people English through Hollywood movies.
Wow.
To the Arab audience.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
To the Arab audience. And then I how to say this? I went to so many ladders. One ladder was languages, and then history, and then the Arab-Israeli reconciliation after living with a Jewish family in 2010. That was the great life-transforming change that really changed my views on Israel and on Judaism.
So the thing that was so interesting to me is that, and this might be wrong also, that it said that you are a former Islamist anti-Semite, and then you became, through learning about Judaism, Torah, Hebrew, and languages.
That is correct.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
That is the right way.
And
exactly. I was a former Islamist. But that was like when I was from the age of 18 to 22.
Okay.
So I was so young.
Yeah.
But I was very influenced by Islamism from school, from the media, from so many things. And I was taking Islam very seriously. I was a very devout religious Muslim. So I took religious texts very seriously. Religious texts that tell you should never take Jews and Christians as friends. The fierce enemies of the believers are the Jews.
Jihad.
Exactly. Oh, jihad, of course.
Jihad, there's a whole chapter in there.
But jihad as a word, it means struggle. It's a good thing, but now you can never say this because it's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
However you try to justify it, it's still a terrible thing.
So go ahead. So tell me.
Yeah, but I was so faithful.
Is that what it really means? In a struggle?
It means struggle, yeah.
But not to kill other people then.
No, that's the broader meaning of the jihad.
So in Torah, whenever we say to fight our enemies and to fight Mitzrayim, which is Egypt. So Mitzrayim is a perimeter, and it's within it. Yes, it's Mitzrayim. It's a land. It's people that kept us slaves, but it's also our Mitzrayim, our borders. We have to fight our border. So are you saying the jihad is your own inner fight?
That's my current interpretation.
That's a great one compared to other people's interpretations.
Of course.
It's a very good one.
Of course, but my current interpretation is being opposed by Islamists. And I know how Islamists think because I was thinking the same way. So the current interpretation that you're saying that, as you say in Judaism, our Mitzrayim is our borders.
Exactly.
And jihad is the struggle to get the best out of yourself,
Yeah.
to get the best out of your obedience to God, is not the same jihad that is being actually broadcasted by Islamists. Jihad now means killing Jews and Christians for the sake of Allah to go to heaven.
Right.
That's
Which-
I'm being very blunt and honest.
Which
And by the way, killing Jews and Christians, even those who don't carry a gun.
right.
Like October 7th, people call what happened jihad.
I-
You see how people ran into the Supernova Music Festival,
Yeah.
raped women, killed the innocent, rammed into the Supernova Music Festival and killed people unarmed. According to their definition, this is jihad.
Right.
This is not what I believe in.
I-
But I know where that comes from, because
Right.
when I was young and I was filled with Islamic texts, I know that there are some texts that can, sorry to say this, can justify this. Islam needs a reform, and I say that in a way that I love my religion. Like so many religions went through a reform, Islam is the youngest Abrahamic faith, and it needs a reform. And a reform, I don't mean a reform that excludes God or that makes it very secular. No, a reform that keeps it religious, but keeps it open to other people as well, to love the fellow human being without the hate, and to say to those religious texts that exist that incite hate against others, like Jews and Christians, that they should be read in the historical context without being extended further, without being applied every time and everywhere like Islamists do.
Right.
So I love what you say, the former Islamist. Basically, yeah, but I was even I was so young, but I had these kind of ideas, and those who are recovered are the best to explain
Of course.
how to save their fellow Muslims from falling into the same trap.
There is a insane amount of recruiting going on, and it's in Islam, and it's the extremists.
I tell you the steps very, very clear.
Yes.
So let's take myself as an 18-year-old guy
Okay.
or an 18-year-old boy. You love religion, you love God, you are so sincere in your loving. So you feel that you love God? Okay. So the first thing, you have to follow God to the word. Okay. So all the verses of the Quran have to be read to the word.
Right.
No interpretation. Don't listen to those moderate Muslims. No interpretation. So the Quran says never take Jews and Christians as friends. You should never take Jews and Christians as friends. Don't tell me context. It applies every time and everywhere. So you are sincere in that, and you think, okay, this is what God wants. So I will never take Jews and Christians as friends.
Right.
I will incite hate against Jews and Christians. Sorry to say this, but I'm just being honest. Sorry.
So to say, we understand you've changed. You're explaining to my audience right now what is happening in the heads of
those who don't want to change.
Of those who don't want to change.
Of those who don't want to
Absolutely.
change. So you're being very faithful to this. So you say, okay, khalas, I'm not going to take Jews and Christians as friends. I'm going to hate Jews and Christians. I'm going to hate Jews because they worship the golden calf, even though the nowadays Jews, they don't. They have a different.
It's very funny. This is the week we read in Torah about the golden calf.
But you know how many people send me messages on Instagram. How could you befriend people who worship the golden calves?
And again, the golden calf in the Torah is, yes, the golden calf. They put the women actually didn't give their jewelry. The men got the money and they got the gold, and they built this calf. But it's really a calf. It's other things.
Exactly.
It's symbolic. The golden calf is money, capitalism, showing off. It's that's what it really means.
But that's the modern This is why I'm telling you.
It's not that modern. Even old teachers in Kabbalah, it's a symbolic of what a golden calf is.
But Kabbalah to some Jews is considered, blasphemy.
No, not blasphemy. It's considered. It's never considered blasphemy. It's considered a teaching that is only when you've reached a certain level. But there are things in Kabbalah that we apply all the time. But that's one of them. The golden calf is everything's a golden calf. Chasing your ego and chasing. I want the Oscar, a big golden calf right there. And doing whatever you have to do and destroying people on the way to get there.
But when people say this to me, they think that the Jews literally are still worshiping the golden calf, not worshiping God. So when I quote verses from the Bible that says Adonai hu Elohim hu
Adonai Eloheinu.
Adonai hu ha-Elohim en'od milvado. They say, but the Jews don't believe in this. The Jews are polytheists. The Jews believe that Ezra is the son of God. We have a verse in the Quran that says that, by the way, that the Jews said that the Ezra is the son of God. And this verse is very problematic because no single interpretation fixed it or dealt with it in a way that is very scientific.
It's so funny, first of all, that you're saying that the Adonai Hu Elohim. I don't know how many videos I get of the Western Wall, the Kotel HaMaravi, you know what I'm talking about, on the other side of the mosque, and they have the Sephardic Jews screaming that, not screaming, singing it, Adonai Hu Elohim, and they sound exactly like Arab people.
Like Muazzin.
But they're saying exactly what you're saying. They're screaming out that God is and I always remind everybody, the main prayer we have is Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And right, but the Lord is one. It's not there's one God. It's one. Oneness is God. Me, you, Periel sitting here, this is God.
Yeah.
This is godliness.
But also God is one in so, because this is what I like about Judaism. It's what I call the Israelite monotheism. That you only worship God. This is what makes Judaism very close to Islam, by the way, in that sense. But
it's so close.
It's so close, yeah.
It's insane, especially Sephardic Jews, the way they pray the nusach, the theme of not the theme, the intonations, it sounds almost the same. You guys pray 5 times a day. Do you know where that came from? That came from Yom Kippur is a 5 times a day when we pray and go on the floor and we do on Yom Kippur.
Very similar.
In my act, I talk about how, I always try to get things that are similar. I said the one thing I give the Muslims credit for is these are men that can go on the floor and get up every day at least 5 times. How many Jews can go on the floor and then get back up again? It's as a joke, but it's on Yom Kippur we do 5 times. Not everybody, only the Orthodox Jews.
Okay,
the real sinners.
Yeah, the real sinners. We're all real sinners.
Hello. Oh, this and now the Jews here late. The Jew is here but late. Okay, well. And he bought you a coffee.
You're on Israeli time,
He's
not
on Israeli
Jewish
time, yo.
I've never been in New York by myself.
Okay, yalla, bon.
But the first encounter, I would say, the first encounter with a Jewish family in Paris really shifted that view and made it. Thank you so much, Dan. And made it.
Kanes.
And made the curiosity.
Look at he's getting a lap dance in the middle. He's discussing Islam and Judaism. He's getting a lap dance in the middle of the whole thing.
Real peace in the Middle East.
Wow, look how thick your hair is.
And made this curiosity change from hate to knowing more.
Yeah.
And this is how you change people.
Baruch haba.
Baruch hanimtza.
Baruch hanimtza. No, okay. So we're having a conversation here. We are in it. To recap for you and anybody who maybe is just popping in right now in the podcast, we're discussing Islam and how, again,
you gave them a wrong bio, by the way. I was not born in the UAE. I was born in Saudi Arabia.
I didn't give them a bio at all.
Who gave them the bio?
That he lives in New York.
That's why I don't do the bios.
Okay,
I don't do it. So new and welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And what's your bio?
What's my bio? I'm from Israel. I grew up in the marvelous Jewish Mecca of Indiana, where there's so many Jews there, right?
In India?
Indiana.
Have you
heard of it?
Yes, I've heard of Indiana.
Fly between your shows in LA and New York.
I've been into, yeah. Okay.
So I grew up there, Jewish family, Iraqi, Ashkenazi Jewish family.
Okay.
And I went back to Israel for my whole adult life. I've been living there for 20 years, served for a long time in the IDF.
Yes.
I was an IDF officer. And my dream really since I've been a child is how can I bridge between Jews and Arabs, between Israel and the broader region. And so when the Abraham Accords were launched, for me, this is really fulfilling my childhood dream.
Amazing.
And so I was involved. The organization I head now is called Shaka. It's an NGO. That's why we're here.
What does it mean?
It means partnership, shutfut. And it's really a joint venture between Israelis, and when I say Israelis, I mean Jews and Arabs and Christians and Druze and everyone working together, and the Arabs of the region. And so we're here on a U.S. speaking tour. Loay is with us on the speaking tour. There's 6 of us.
As a guest.
From all over the region. And we're going all over the United States trying to, unfortunately, we in the Middle East are figuring out how to get along. But here in the United States, people are so divided over the Middle East. So we're trying to bring back some...
What do you mean they're so divided in the Middle East here?
You see the protests, you see the insane things that people say, the propaganda, the hatred. You see Jewish students, Hillel, synagogues being attacked.
Right.
It's insane. You see a discussion taking place.
But
about
not the
Middle
Jews
East.
being divided. The Jews are united outside of Israel.
Mostly.
Yeah.
You also see divisions within the Jewish people.
There's a lot of Jews who are saying horrible things that are also not true about Israel.
Okay. So the Abraham Accord, which was brought to us, thank you very much, from Donald Trump.
Hey, listen.
And his son-in-law, Jared.
As we say, even a broken clock is accurate twice a day.
A broken clock is like, okay, but that doesn't fit this anyway. I mean, that's like saying 2 eggs in a hen is better than 3 in the Abraham Accord was what I thought was like such a huge move towards Mashiach energy. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, and when I performed for the Republican Jewish Coalition.
I've heard of them.
Only because they called and had a check. Not because I have any sides. Not because I'm on... If the Democrats would call tomorrow, I'd perform for them also. But the 4 things that they kept reiterating was the Abraham Accords, the moving of the embassy to Yerushalayim, the Golan, and the Iran, taking apart the Iran thing. But the Abraham Accords, and they kept saying that the one thing the Democrats did not do well is continue the Abraham Accords.
It's true. They picked it up, but they're not investing enough in it.
Yeah.
They backed off, and I get it. You know, Democrats want to distance from Republicans, fine. But it is the single greatest achievement,
I think so.
In the modern Middle East.
Yep.
And because it's not just the relationship between Israel and the UAE, which has been tremendous. I've been 10 times, 12 times. How many times have I been now to the UAE? It's not just the relationship with Bahrain. It's not just Morocco. It opened a door for this big reconciliation, and it gave a place for people like Loay, who really set the trend here, because he was, doing it before it was cool and trendy and before he had protection to do it. But those brave voices, those free thinkers around the Middle East who want to have peaceful relations with Israel, who want to move past all the troubles, and it gave them this kind of platform in which they could do this now.
Yeah.
And so that's also where our NGO comes in, is how do we amplify that? How do we get people to Israel? We do, like birthright trips with Arabs coming to Israel.
I agree with you 110. Birthright is super important and great. There's nothing more important than getting non-Jews into Israel.
That's what we do.
For my husband's birthday, we brought three of our friends, not Jewish, over, showed them it. We went to the West Bank, to the Judean mountains. We went to inside. And they understand what's happening there. Now, when the war broke out, they have an understanding of what's happening.
Exactly.
It's so important.
It's something that you can't learn from watching CNN or reading.
You can't.
I think the thing that Westerners don't understand is that, and you talk about this a lot also, that we are so much more alike. We have so much in common that's the way forward, right?
100%. I will tell you, the way you guys are trying to get the world together and unite is one thing. I will tell you through comedy. At the shows in Huntington, where she did an amazing job. She was wonderful. I don't know if you saw, but up on the second show, in the balcony, there were 2 women wearing the full
hijab.
Yeah, the hijab. Both 2 of them together. Dying of laughter.
Yeah, of course.
Why not? Comedy unites us.
You were wonderful also.
Have you played in the Gulf yet?
No.
We need to bring him. Can we bring him to Abu Dhabi or Dubai? You would kill over there.
A check on a microphone. That's all we need. It's very easy to bring me anywhere.
The Abu Dhabi Republican Coalition is paying.
We show up. We show up.
Andrew Schultz did the show.
Oh, he killed it there. Yeah.
Killed it. And he learns,
Yeah.
he learns the nuances.
But he can also, I saw the material he was doing. It was super risky, but he is a white Christian or actually religionless probably.
Yeah. He's not Jewish.
He's not. No, he's not Jewish.
I've always wondered.
It's not. It's Schulz.
German name.
German name, I think. But I don't know what he is.
Did you see this?
His manager. A complete Israeli guy, like Israeli parents, is a great guy.
He's hilarious.
Hilarious, yeah. But he was like really having fun with them.
Your comedy would absolutely.
I don't know, really.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm.
By the way, every clip you have, doing the Sephardi, Ashkenazi, all that. I send it to all my friends in the UAE.
Yeah,
they're cracking up. They're laughing,
really,
and they get it. They all get the humor.
Yes. That microphone could not be closer to your mouth. It's driving me absolutely insane.
Why?
You're literally sitting like this because this mic is in your.
In a second.
Huh?
Listen, you were late. Don't give me
the
shit.
coffee. I had to get coffee.
He's so Israeli. He's supposed to be here at
so
12
sorry.
at 12 o'clock. I'm in Midtown. It's
And
okay.
also, I'm downstairs.
Okay,
Does anybody want coffee?
No.
You asked me to get coffee.
No.
I want to get
asked
back.
you
I want to
him
get back
coffee.
to.
Wait.
I don't want to say his name like an American. Loay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Loay. Yeah.
I hate so much one of the things that's so upsetting outside of everything since October 7th is that this idea that in order to be pro-Israel that you are anti-Palestinian.
Right.
And we've been saying that on this show forever. I hate that idea so much. I think that it can't be like that. And the future doesn't work like that. And I think that like these myths and this hatred and the violence and the bullshit and the propaganda of these American students who have never been to this country, know nothing, and are perpetuating much hate and bullshit.
White privilege, right?
Yeah.
It is white privilege. That's exactly what it is. It's not just white privilege, but it is a kind of privilege when you don't have any skin in the game. I'm really curious from both of you, like, how do you reach those people who are not interested in the truth?
I don't think that's their job.
Their job?
In my opinion, from just the vibes we've gotten before you showed up, his mission in life to me is to tell people, to tell Muslims, there's a way to read this Quran which is not deadly, which is not killing Jews and Christians. His thing, from what I'm catching, is the Abraham Accords, which is Mashiach energy on another level. No?
Yes.
They're not here from Hillel.
No.
No.
But we're going
here.
around to campuses. We're speaking at schools.
Yes, but the thing is that what I'm saying or what I'm doing is not only reconciling Muslims with their own religion. This is something, of course, has to be done. But also, as I told you, the reconciliation between Arabs and Israelis, Muslims and Jews, not only Muslims and Jews, Arabs and Israelis as well. The Arab-Israeli conflict, if you study it well, you would understand that Abraham Accords is the answer.
Yes.
And in order to answer your question, when you said that being I don't like to say pro-Israel. I'm pro-peace with Israel. There's a difference. I'm pro-peace with Israel.
Very well.
And you can and being pro-peace with Israel could mean you are pro-Israel and pro-Palestine at the same time. So there's a difference between the Palestinian people and PIJ, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Hamas. So this is what I do on social media, is to tell people that there's a difference between the Islamist militants who want to massacre and kill and annihilate the Jews and Israel,
and Americans.
And of course,
Yes.
unfortunately, I don't believe the Americans know this.
Right.
Unfortunately, and also and the Palestinian people who the average Palestinian wants to go to work, send his children to a school, get educated, do business, do this and that. So the normal Palestinians are different from the militant Islamists who really want to bring the Middle East into chaos and anarchy. This is how I approach it. I will speak on myself. This is how I approach it. So, and I believe also this is how Dan and other
So
people.
what are your methods? What are the methods?
Social media. I use social
On
media.
social media, what are you telling them?
I make educational videos to debunk lies and refute claims.
Okay. I will tell you something, and this is something I believe. Whenever I say anything near my phone, I get the messages. So I told Leo, I said, I want to learn more about the Quran and all that. I get all the videos now. So now I get on my feed rabbis.
Don't learn the Quran from the
No. But I get.
Please.
First of all, I'm in shock at how the Sephardic rabbis and the imams dress almost alike.
Mm.
It is the same chultamaturis that they're wearing. The hats. They have the hat with this, and they have the
where that
hat.
comes from, right?
No,
That was the official uniform in the Ottoman Empire that religious clerics had to wear.
okay,
So the chief Sephardic rabbis of Israel continue to wear that to this day.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are all children of Abraham.
We really are.
We're all cousins.
And if you look at it from this angle, the number of similarities, and then you take a distance and have a bird eye view on the conflict, you would ask yourself a question: would Abraham Avinu would look down to us, pleased of his children killing each other over their differences,
Yeah.
or working together on their commonalities? What would Abraham, you think, would love to?
If he looked down now, he would start throwing up for hours.
For being disappointed.
The disappointment in his eyes and his life would be so unbelievable that this is where we
and
are.
As I told you, as long as our message is so clear that we want to save people's lives,
Yeah.
we don't. By the way, I am also saying that I'm not with the war, even the current war. I am with stopping the war the right way that would prevent October 7th from happening again. So I always say this to people that who tell me, "Are you pro the war that is happening right now?" I said, this war is unfortunate, but Israel didn't ask for it,
Right.
and this war can end now.
In a minute.
In a minute, if the hostages are released, and if Hamas lays down its arms, or
if the leadership goes into exile or gives itself up, this war's
Correct.
over. It's
but
over.
if
I go to bed every night.
But if you ask for a ceasefire, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you ask for a ceasefire now, okay, ceasefire. You're asking for a ceasefire that was there on October 6th, and then it means only one thing: a pause for people to regroup
Yeah.
and make another October 7th, and then we would also meet here again and say war is ugly, war is bad, and then we'll ask for a ceasefire. And then that ceasefire will bring another war, and bring another war. So this time it has to end once and for all.
Yeah.
For the sake of the Palestinians, first and foremost. I know what's happening right now is an ugly war, but this ugly war, let's remind everyone that it started on October 7th when Hamas invaded. By the way, even the parts that Hamas invaded are not disputed lands that, according to the international community, Palestinian territories. The disputed land are the West Bank and Gaza.
Yeah.
So when Hamas invaded parts inside Israel that is still recognized as Israeli territories in the 1948 or the 1947 partition, that means invading another country.
Yeah.
So it's not like you are invading or you are attacking disputed lands. No, you attacked Israeli sovereign lands on their holiday.
Right.
And you cannot compare it even to the Egyptian war that happened in 1973 because Egypt attacked Israeli forces at that time. I always say this. I'm really sorry if I don't want to be misunderstood for this. If the Hamas militants attacked Israeli soldiers on October 7th only, I would say this is a violation. This is war. This is an act of war. This is horrendous. But I would understand that the Israeli soldiers are trained to.
It's war. By the way, as an Israeli, I would say that's legitimate.
But what really got me mad, is to see them rushing into the Supernova Music Festival, where people are celebrating, dancing, singing,
and the people that are doing that are the people that are the most pro Palestinians having a better life.
The irony of it.
Yeah,
right?
there's the irony. It's a different world.
And this is jihad.
So
And hold
this
on.
is
This is according to Hamas. This is jihad. And those who say, yeah, real mujahideen would never target innocents, I would love to believe that. I used to believe that when I was young. I would love to still believe that. But I don't think it's factual. I believe that there are texts that justify what happened on October 7th.
They had religious rulings.
sorry.
They had religious rulings from their
of course,
sheikhs, allowing them to do all the
Right.
stuff they did.
no, it's very.
And
easy
this
to
is
do
why
that,
I
yeah.
say, if to moderate Muslims, if you really refuse that, speak up. Don't say I'm afraid. Speak up and say not in our name. And if you're saying that I had this kind of idea before and I changed, speak up again.
That's what we're trying to
Don't
do.
be complicit
That's what we're
in
trying
this crime.
to build this broad regional and international momentum. The group we have, it's 4 Muslims, a Jew and a Christian, right? Walking into a bar.
Welcome to a bar.
And we actually walked into a bar last night and did an event with American Muslims, with American Christians.
Beautiful.
And we're doing that all over the country. This is
Yeah.
our 12th to 13th speaking tour. And we're just
Amazing.
trying to kind of bring that energy here to the United States, bring the message. And like Loay said, because they won't listen to me. They won't listen to
Right, they
crazy
listen
Jew.
to him.
They'll listen to him.
Yes.
They'll listen to our veiled friend
Yes.
who's also coming, and our Moroccan friend. They'll listen to them. And so we're trying to educate them, not in a confrontational manner. You can be if you want to be really pro-Palestine, you should be pro-Israel. We should all be anti-Hamas. That's the
pro,
kind of
and,
message.
yeah, and this is why I say pro-Abraham Accords,
Yeah.
pro-peace,
Yes.
pro-peace.
Are you in touch with Jared Kushner and all that?
We with the institute that he founded.
Right.
We were one of their early partners and kind of working with them on trying to build stuff and build frameworks and build partnerships on the ground.
Yeah. It's
I haven't met him yet, but I would love to. He's a great. I met Avi Berkowitz,
okay.
also in the Trump administration, and I totally agree with what Dan said, that the Democratic Party picked up the Abraham Accords, but did not invest much in it. And I believe that, and I don't want to intervene in America's politics, but the Abraham Accords and peace in the Middle East is something very important for the sake of everyone to be solved. Having a stable Middle East,
This is the future.
it's. I know there are so many conflicts America is looking at, but the Middle East is the most important, in my humble opinion.
It's 100. There is in the broad strokes. It's very obvious. We're all cousins. We're all cousins. We're sons of Abraham, and I have cousins that I'm in touch with often, and some not that often. And there's cousins that we don't talk at all. But I don't wish them bad. I wish the best for them, for their kids, which I haven't even met. The best for them. I wish it's a cousin. It's our families are together, but killing and kidnapping is not on the table.
There's been a long brainwashing in the region. I'd like to say only on the Arab side, but also on the Jewish side, let's be honest, that we're not connected, that they're truly evil, that they have these plans. And there are extremist elements driving this. And so we need to sideline those, and we need to amplify, we called it, we did a speaking event the other night, and so we need to be radical moderates, and it's a very hard.
That's great.
Right, but I'm walking on yesterday down.
I have my disagreement on this term because the word radical, I hate
you
it.
don't-
Yeah.
We need active moderates. You can't just
Active
sit back. Like you said, you need
Yeah.
to speak up.
Vocal moderate.
I saw the
Vocal.
protests, and they were protesting Obama. They were protesting Biden. They
I
were
They're all
saw
here.
that.
Yes, they're all
and
here.
it was they have such great chants, so it's from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And what do we have? We don't have anything that rhymes. We have a 2-hour history lecture that gets into the legal nature
Yeah.
of the Balfour Declaration and land purchases by Kakal and this. And so they were saying, Obama, you can't hide. You're supporting genocide. It rhymes. It's catchy.
Yeah.
We don't.
Hide and you think we just need some catchy slogans?
I think we just need catchy slogans.
What kind of a response are you getting in America?
Yeah.
In America,
Yeah.
Yes.
from to be very honest,
From Muslims.
from Muslims, from
It's
America,
it's a broad question you asked.
from the response that we are getting, or that I am getting, Dan will speak also about the group, but the response that I am getting on my social media from American Muslims and from Americans overall is super positive. We had an American Muslim group with us last night, spoke with us, and we are collaborating more about for peace in the Middle East. So thank God, the response is positive. We haven't met any extremists
Well,
yet.
They're boycotting us.
Yeah,
Let's be honest, they're
some
boycotting
some
us.
people
Who's
are not
boycotting you?
attending our.
Let me.
The extreme. Anybody coming to your lecture is already has a foot in.
We've done a
mind
few
changing.
hundred events around the country. We speak at campuses. We try to really get to campuses.
Get to Columbia quickly.
We'll be there on Sunday. We'll be at Columbia on Sunday. But since October 7th, especially, it's mostly Jewish students. It's mostly Jewish students, or it's mostly, people who are interested in a dialogue on this issue. Very hard to get the people who are hostile. We've had a few campuses here and there where there have been the kind of hostile people that we want to engage with. And then by the time the conversation's over, they're like, oh, we didn't think about it that way. And we're all hugging and taking pictures together.
Right.
We had one event in Georgia at a university. Quarter of the room, you were there, quarter of the room were Muslim students.
And
It was the most beautiful thing after the event. We're all taking pictures together and talking.
Wow.
They wouldn't let him go.
That's amazing.
All of our delegation
Also, to be
members.
very honest, the events that I did with other organizations, I haven't met any hostility in the U.S. And
Those are Jewish organizations mostly.
yeah, but we did others other than Shaka. There were not Jewish organizations. They were fine. They were Christians, but they were fine. I mean,
Right.
like some of them were very, how to say this, evangelical Christians, but they were fine. I mean, like we don't badmouth people.
Yeah.
We don't do the confrontation in a very. We don't attack the Palestinians, but we dismantle, or I dismantle specifically the ideology of radical Islamists that starts with hate. I want to tell you one thing: if you expunge hate and you still be religious, that's the great combination that I would wish any religious person would have.
Yeah.
But when I understand religion, when I was young, when I was searching for God, I was religious with hate because I understood the text wants you to hate, so I had to hate. Expunge hate, love God, love all the human beings who are created on the image of God, regardless of their sexual orientation, of their religion, of their color, of their race. You will become the perfect human being.
The perfect human being. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Love your neighbor as thyself. First, you have to love yourself. Otherwise, what kind of love are you going to give your neighbor?
But you should never judge also.
So if you're a masochist,
What do you mean? What do you mean judging?
Judging, there's a great verse in the Bible, in the New Testament, not
In the New Testament.
not in the Hebrew Bible,
Yeah.
that Jesus said, "Don't judge, so you don't be judged."
Right.
Why are you looking at the dirt on your brother's eye while ignoring the big dirt in your eye?
Right.
So never judge people in a way that, as I told you, when I was religious, a religious devout Muslim, when I was young, I used to judge people a lot. Oh, he's not doing this that doesn't please God. This is right. This is wrong. This is,
Okay.
and I wasn't looking at myself. So, I mean, like, you should stop judging people for who they are, for what they wear, for what they do, and you should love them for what they be.
So again,
For what they are.
back to my slogans. One of my main slogans in life is when you judge somebody else, you're not defining them. You're defining yourself as somebody who needs to judge.
right.
That's it. Not mine.
I like
Dr.
it.
Wayne Dyer.
I'll borrow
Dr.
it.
Wayne Dyer.
I'll borrow it.
That's what that is, a judgment. But back to ואהבת לרעך כמוך, love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
Neighbor doesn't mean just Jew. Your fellow Jew, or it's your neighbor, your Palestinian neighbor. It's the love. You got to make a love here, and anything I do that's religious, I try to do things spiritually, not religious. So when I drink something, I make a bracha, I make a blessing before I drink. It's not so I can tell somebody who doesn't, you don't make a blessing before you drink. It's I'm hoping that me making this blessing will somehow make me a better person.
Exactly.
Later on today, when I'm about to have conflict with somebody, hopefully I put on tefillin every morning. I go to synagogue for Shabbat. It's not for the purpose of telling somebody else. I'm doing it so I can tell you, I can't believe you don't do it.
Okay.
So now in Islam, what's the I just don't know the Quran enough, and what I'm getting it from super radical people. My feed has become super radical Islamists screaming and yelling.
Aren't they
And
fun?
this is where
Are they fun?
they're unhinged.
Yeah.
Unhinged. There's one guy who's just like, okay, this is the Quran. This is the Quran, and this is the only text that God is speaking directly. Every other Bible, every other religion, it's an interpretation of God. But
Such
Quran
a surety, a confidence in
But hold on, let me tell you something else.
We
By
have
the
it
way,
too.
Lahavdil,
We have it
we have it too.
we have it too.
We have it too.
Every
There's one rabbi.
religion
There's one rabbi.
has that.
Sure, it's
Okay.
fundamentalism.
Yeah, that's
But it's fundamentalism.
Mormons
Yeah.
have it.
Let me.
No, but this is how I'm learning. So
Yeah.
I realize he's ridiculous. I realize he is this imam screaming at this stuff. But he showed me. Okay, so here, this is the chapter called Jihad, right? It starts Jihad. That's like we say Bereshit. This is jihad, and then he explains die over and over and over for the. So now I get it. I understand that there are Louis in the world. There
are many
now
Louis.
I'm seeing that the
There are
jihad
many.
is your own inner fight.
Yeah. Well, that's what
go
the
and destroy
origin
your
was.
inner demons.
But
That's
the
what the
word
origin was.
is honestly smart now.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Is smart. So you cannot say
the word
jihad.
it's done.
Jihad is smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jihad, the word jihad is to be very honest had its black day on October 7th. So I would I wouldn't recommend.
Jihad had its black day on 9/11.
Yes.
Jihad had its black day way before October 7th. The word jihad here, I've been using it as punchlines in my way before. So that's October 7th was just a reminder.
another
Jihad.
A reminder of the black day.
Of black
days.
of the darkness of what jihad is become interpreted.
And I hope that those who are still having these kind of ideas to go through the inner battle when they have their first encounters with other people from different faiths, and God will guide them. I believe God will guide those who are sincere, even in their hate. If you are so sincere to please God and you are searching for Him and for the truth, He will guide you to the right path.
You know,
The right path
something dawned on
which-
me.
The
Something
right
dawned
path
on me,
which
Loay.
would the right path. Hold on, the right path which would lead to expunging hate.
Something dawned on me. Last week, I was in Morocco.
Okay.
We organized, this was unbelievable. We organized in Shaka a group of Israeli rabbis, kind of more right-wing rabbis, who are interested in interfaith dialogue, and African-American imams. Used to be Nation of Islam and kind of broke off of Nation of Islam
Really?
and are trying to be kind of mainstream Sunni Muslims, but they're
Okay.
also interested in interfaith dialogue. They don't know much about Jews. And we brought them together in Morocco because of the long history of real interfaith coexistence there. And so the whole week, we tour Morocco, we see different sites, heritage sites, this, that. And then we'd have kind of like a shiur, like a discussion over something similar, some commonality between Judaism and Islam, and have a discussion. And, one imam and one rabbi would give a drash or something, and then we would discuss it. And something dawned on us at this is that, you know what the word Islam means? Submission.
Submission. No, but it has other meanings too.
Submission. And the whole Jewish concept, at least since the beginning of rabbinic Judaism, has been to argue, right? Even from the beginning of Jacob, of Israel, right? To argue, to dispute. We don't just accept what
to
Hashem
wrestle
says.
with God.
Even
To
Hashem,
wrestle,
even
right.
Abraham arguing with God about Sodom and Amorah and destroying. So our whole heritage is we don't just accept. It was never Naseh v'nishma. It was always, we're going to argue. We're going to debate. We're going to debate amongst ourselves. We're going to have 50 rabbis in a Talmud, and the whole book is just arguments.
Well, there is room for Naseh v'nishma. Don't.
But the spirit of Judaism
exactly.
is one
but
of is debate. It's
No,
intellectual.
I think there is.
you have no idea what Naseh
there-
v'nishma is. You have no idea.
But I think
Zero.
I'm so
Well,
surprised.
explain it.
No,
I think you can still argue while being submissive in a way that you submit to the will of God. For example, like you accept whatever happening in your life based on your choices, and you have to accept the consequences and the outcome, and you have to trust God in what He's delivering to you. This is submission. but asking questions or having.
I don't know if it's I'm not crazy about the word submission.
Submission. I'll just simplify it to you.
But that's the Muslim mindset.
But hold on.
Let me
Is it
simplify it.
submission or is it just being open? For example, let me just do nase v'nishma nase,
That's it.
to do, v'nishma, and then we'll listen.
Oh, okay.
So we'll do and listen. So, for example, things are going bad in your life, some health issues, some this. I said to you, Periel, do you have a mezuzah on your door? And you say no. And I said, put a mezuzah on your door. And you go, no, what's a mezuzah? What do I have to learn about it? I don't know. Why am I putting it on my door? And or you go, okay, let me put the mezuzah on my door. And you put it on your door. And maybe things change and maybe they don't, but you gave in. You didn't, I don't have submission, but you opened yourself. It's more, you open
Giving in.
Again, I don't know
Giving
if it's
in to
giving in.
So I'll just tell you my interpretation is to
being open.
You're opening your hearts to God, to do your best to do what He wants to the best of your understanding.
And by he again for me is oneness.
Yeah, of course.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. It's oneness. When your flight is delayed, when your this is canceled, when that gig didn't come through, you didn't get it's a oneness that made this happen.
It's not she.
It's only one. It's not he because it's in the male in the Torah, but I think
maybe
it's
that's the
genderless.
problem,
If anything.
No, but
we don't have gender
It's
neutral in Hebrew.
genderless if you think about it. It's oneness.
but he addressed
But echad
he addressed himself as he.
Huh?
He addressed himself as he.
Yeah.
I accept that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure, of course
That's
you
so
guys
not
are.
where. That's so not where we need to
But he's
make
not
the
like
fight.
us. So when God says
I'm kidding. I know.
he has
I know.
hands, he has ears, he has this.
That's so we can comprehend.
Just to
That's-
simplify to human beings.
Yes.
But it's not like 5 fingers like this.
I want to come back to something
But it is.
you asked, Modi.
But it is in fingers and in hands, and it's sometimes.
But not like
someone
ours, not
Comes,
flesh and
sometimes
blood.
somebody comes into your life out of nowhere
Yes.
and does something that's God. God showed up to
Yes.
to align this.
I
To
agree. I
align
agree with
this,
that,
that
yeah.
God showed up. You never see this person again.
Yes.
It's come on.
You see God in
It's-
his.
that's the
in the
echad.
presence,
That's
yes.
the one. That's the
That's
oneness.
Mashiach energy.
Amen. That's Mashiach energy.
I like the religious talks.
I always I can discuss this stuff. It's my favorite thing to talk
I was
about.
going to say he could do this for hours.
For hours.
Look, we've been going all over the U.S., and I can tell you overwhelmingly, everyone says we needed this. We needed this message of hope, that there's hope in the Middle East, that to see Jews and Muslims and Christians and Israelis and Arabs coming together and talking about a brighter future. Every single audience, he's been on 2 tours. We've done 12, 13 of these. They say, we needed this. Thank you. How do we make 20 of these? That's what overwhelmingly I think Americans want. And they just don't know. And so, when we sit down and calmly...
The world, not Americans, the whole world.
Europe could use some help
also.
too.
I was in London a month ago. And I spoke with some Jewish organizations, some non-Jewish organizations. And unfortunately, I love London so much, but it's like London, it's like...
London stan.
London is Londonistan now.
It's
London. I got news for you. I was in London too. I was in London before the war, and it was you didn't get that in there, and I over 2,000 Jews came to see the show, and it was Mashiach energy for them. Anywhere I perform in Europe, they are in shock. Never mind that the material is genius. But they are in shock that there is a guy on stage screaming, I'm a Jew! I'm a Jew!
They're used to hiding.
We control the money! We control government! I'm a Jew! We have this! I'm a Jew! They are in shock. In Paris, they were like this.
Yeah.
Like that. After the war, I performed in Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, Vienna, Brussels. You think London is that? Brussels has areas where the actual police and government are not allowed in.
They don't go, yeah.
And we had the amount of money we have to spend for security is insane. And we had to cancel one of the shows in Paris because of there was a huge protest across the street. But Europe needs this more than anything.
And America too.
America.
I'm with you. Everybody needs this. Everybody needs this.
Okay, so what can people do to get involved in Shaka and to make themselves useful in this world instead of just complaining on social media?
We have the studio. You guys have anywhere to go? We the studio till
We do.
We do. So let's just maybe do
but I want them to get that in before the
end of this. Okay.
We're trying to build a positive movement here that brings people together. So first, go to our website, go to our social media, Shaka NGO. Shaka NGO.
Shaka, what a difficult name.
Like Shakira, just Shaka.
Sharika, but
we get that so much. The dad joke, and they're like and people say Shakira.
Okay, so how do they reach you?
They social media, Shaka NGO on all the social media.
Spell Shaka. Who in my audience knows how to spell Shaka?
SHARAKA NGO. And we're trying to amplify. We're trying to take wonderful voices like Loay. He's really one of the big stars in this.
No, he's my favorite. One of my favorite guests so far. You and Rabbi Manis Friedman. you and Rabbi Manis Friedman and
big company. That's a big company.
You and Rabbi Manis was no, I knew, but I knew that was there. I knew that there is a way to read the Quran in a positive way. Yes, love. Okay, go on the floor 5 times a day. Don't eat during, but it's just to become a better person.
But I'm being very honest with you. I am not the majority of Muslims who think
absolutely.
Sorry.
Of course you're not.
I'm being very honest and blunt. The majority of Muslims think that I'm a crazy. Because first of all, you believe in the right of Israel to exist. You believe you're friends with the Jewish people, even though the Quran, by the way, talks about the Holy Land given to the Jewish people. But I'm just saying that I don't want to disappoint you, but I'm not the majority of Muslims.
I know you're not. Okay. But thank God you're there to even just if you make a.
But I care about my fellow Muslims and the young generation. I don't want them. I sincerely don't want them to go through Loay when he was 18 to 23.
Right.
When he was so extreme, when he hated Jews, when he would never sit with Jews and Christians like this, because God doesn't want you to become friends with Jews and Christians.
Right.
And the fierce enemies of the believers. Can you believe that a verse that says the fierce enemies of the believers are the Jews? But if you are reforming that, and if you understand that there was something happening in Medina at that time, so 2 or 3, 4 Jews tripled the Prophet Muhammad, that doesn't mean that Dan, David, Michael, or anyone in the 21st century should have the same consequence. You see?
Right.
This is the idea. You cannot hate the Egyptians because the Torah says, for example, that you should never, there's a verse that says your neighbor should never be an Egyptian or something like that, but that couldn't be cascaded to all Egyptians. But I understand at the time
but we've moved on. Now it's as long as your neighbor can cover his mortgage.
Exactly.
We've moved on. We've moved on.
And if Rambam would understood it this way, he would never move to Egypt. If Rambam understood that the enmity between the Jews and the Egyptians is eternal, he would never accepted the offer by Saladin to move to
You ever
Egypt.
think you'd be sitting here with a guy from Abu Dhabi quoting to you Rambam?
I'm so happy. Hold on, but let's just cut this. So, how do they reach you?
People reach out to us, Shaka NGO. You can find me online, Dan at Shaka, SHARAKA NGO. We want people around the country, reach out, host events, invite our delegations. Last night we brought Jews, Muslims, Christians together. We speak all over the country.
And what's your Instagram account?
Dan Feferman. It's mostly me just lifting weights, so that's not going to help a lot.
Oh yeah, he's those of you who aren't watching, those of you who aren't watching, let me tell you what's happening in the studio. So he Dan's sitting here. He looks like a young Theodore Herzl. He's got with the little beard, all black, without dye on it. The gorgeous like Leo hair. He's the role of Leo is being played by Dan. Buffed out. He's wearing a shirt that is at least 1 or 2 sizes too small, just to show off the muscles. And he's a vibe. And Louis here is ready for Christmas. I don't know where this shirt came from, but Merry Christmas, Louis. Merry Christmas. Those of you, just to go post a clip, make sure you get a good clip. Open the scarf for a minute. Open the scarf. He's sitting here with a cold, the poor guy. Okay.
I didn't expect that for spring.
Let me just cut this. I'm at modilive.com. I have no idea when this is airing anymore. We are out of control. The tour will probably be over by now. Or if not, this is modilive.com for the Know Your Audience tour if anything's left. And then there's a whole bunch of shows we are announcing at the end of April, beginning of May. And Periel, what's happening in your life?
Oh my God, so much. But you can just follow me on Instagram. It's all there.
Did you change your name yet or no?
My name's Periel. It's Periel. Modi has advised me to completely get rid of
Why?
my
Why
last
would you
name.
change
So you changed it? So now
On
you
Instagram?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Oh God. Okay. See, it's so hard to get people to change.
And people should follow Loay.
No,
Yes,
balloon.
that's-
I'm leaving my
unbelievable.
Achon
Achon
Chaviv. No.
Chaviv, that's right.
How do they find you?
They find me.
Go to your camera. Tell them where.
Just write on Instagram LOAY AlShareef. You will find me there. You will find content related to the Abraham Accords, the model of the UAE for tolerance and coexistence, and this is the model of Islam that I believe in, by the way. And also, you will find many educational content on how to bring Arabs and Israelis, Muslims and Jews, debunking lies, refuting misinformation, and I hope you find it useful.
But again, your Instagram is?
It's okay. Instagram is very simple. AlShareef.
Okay.
AlShareef.
AlShareef. If you spell that wrong, the FBI shows up. If you spell
You'll
that
get
wrong,
one of your
you're gonna
preachers
get
if you
the
spell it
FBI
wrong. You'll
shows
get
up.
one of those firebrand
Thank you very
preachers.
much for listening, everybody. Okay.
Merry Christmas.